Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Bexar County Court at Law number 6 and the Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court Marathon Plea and motion to revoke probation docket. I apologize it's that way, but it's that way. So please be patient with us and we'll get you out of here as soon as we can. These are the cases we have set on today's docket. Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court Track 2 Plea and Probation Agreement. State of Texas versus Gerald Lomas, 634-525. Represented by Mr. Joseph McComb. Pleas that are set. State of Texas versus Cassia Howard, 654-137, represented by Ms. Ashley Morgan. Clause number 657158, State of Texas versus Ms. Michelle Garcia, represented by Jeffrey Martinez. Clause number 613712, State of Texas versus Edward Ibanez, represented by Mr. George Dombart. Clause 644797 and 644798, State of Texas versus Tyler Fox, represented by Mr. Eric Hernandez.
Present, Your Honor.
Clause number 633390, State of Texas versus Daniel Bohan, represented by Mr. Paul Goki. Clause number 656612, State of Texas versus Viviana Alvarez, represented by Ms. Rose Zabel. Let's see here. Clause number 650834, State of Texas versus Tony Alameda, represented by Mr. Roy Barrera Jr. Clause 656680, State of Texas versus Alex Hinojosa, represented by Mr. Sharif Ghazawi. Clause 655767, State of Texas versus Jacob Juarez, represented by Mr. Ray Lopez. Clause number 653301, State of Texas versus June Eileen De Leon, represented by Ms. Mary Patrizak. Clause number 637241, State of Texas versus Norma Beltran, represented by Mr. Sean Farmer. Clause 644922, State of Texas versus Richard DeCastro, represented by Mr. Ben Stevenson.
Ready.
Clause 647765, State of Texas versus represented by Mr. Edward Cano.
I'm here.
Thank you. Clause 636879 and 652902, State of Texas versus Sean Clark, represented by Judge Monica Guerrero. And our motion to revoke docket, we have clause number 646357, State of Texas versus Michael Chow, represented by Mr. Anton Hayek.
Present.
We have clause 602540, State of Texas versus Adrian Jackson, represented by Mr. Joseph Stateson. We have clause 568269, State of Texas versus Zachary Root, represented by Mr. Judge Joan De Hoyos. We have clause 652488, State of Texas versus Christopher Hernandez, represented by Mr. Scott Martinez. And we have clause 637501, State of Texas versus Lillian Miranda, represented by Mr. Albert Acevedo III.
Present, Your Honor.
Last but not least, we have clause 622516, State of Texas versus Andre Barrera, represented by Mr. Jeb Locke. That being said, we're going to take Mr. Chow's MTR first because he's a prisoner. Then we're going to knock out these pleas 6 at a time. And then we're going to get to the MTR, so we have plenty of time for you guys on the MTR, and you can present all your evidence and whatnot. All right, so Mr. Hayek, are you ready on Mr. Chow's case?
Ready.
Okay. Representing the state is Ms. Alexis O'Connor. Representing the Bexar County CSED is Ms. Susan Gross, who I will swear at this time. Ms. Gross, please raise your right hand. You swear the testimony you're about to give to be the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes, sir, I do.
Thank you. Mr. Hayek and Mr. Chow, I'm looking at clause number 646357, a second amended motion to revoke community supervision. The first document I need you to identify your signatures on is entitled Defendant's Consent to Motion to Revoke Hearing by Video Conference. Mr. Chow, is this your signature on this document, sir?
You need to unmute, Chow.
Was that Mr. Chow or Mr. Hayek?
Yes, Mr. Hayek told him to unmute.
Mr. Chow, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Is that your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thanks. If you're not talking to me right at this moment, please turn your microphone off so you don't get any background noise from anybody. Thank you. And Mr. Hayek, as attorney for Mr. Chow, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Chow, the next document I'm looking at is entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, which is marked, quote, is a revocation of the defendant's community supervision, and the defendant has the right to appeal the court's actions revoking the community supervision, but not the underlying conviction. Is this your signature on this document also, Mr. Chow?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Hayek, as attorney for Mr. Chow, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Hayek, my understanding is this is a non-contested motion to revoke probation. Is that accurate?
I believe so. There's a recommendation in this case.
There's a what now? I'm sorry.
There's a recommendation in this case.
Oh, I'll be happy to listen to anybody's recommendation. Okay. So that being said, on the second amended motion to revoke community supervision, Mr. Chow, how do you plead, sir?
Not really sure.
Court
True.
acceptance. How about true with an explanation, Tony? Will that work?
Great. True with an explanation, Mr. Chow.
True
There
with
you
an
go.
true with an explanation.
Thank you, sir. All good. Ms. Gross, would you please advise the court and the parties of the status of Mr. Chow's probation?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Chow has been reporting as directed. We last saw him on June 4th, 2021 while in jail. He's paid $96 towards his fees. He has a balance of $1,391 and is $21 delinquent. We have no proof of completion of any of his 36 hours of community service. He has one positive drug test for methamphetamines. We show no proof of enrollment or completion in the victim impact panel, DWI intervention, or CATSNP classes. He's currently on Smart Start Mobile, testing it 4 times a day. He's had 5 skips, no bracks. However, he did tamper with the camera in that the view was obstructed for 4 blows, and we don't know who was blowing into the device. This is his first violation report, first motion to revoke. His criminal history includes a previous driving while license invalid and a theft 100 to 750. His officer is recommending that he go to the Bexar County Intensive Supervision Facility for 120 to 180 days, and that he remain in jail until a bed is available.
And that's a SATF recommendation, is that correct?
No, ISP.
ISF.
Boot camp?
Yes.
That helps a lot of people with drug problems. All right. Mr. Hayek, what are you requesting, please?
No, I'm in agreement that he goes to ISF. I've talked to my client about that. He needs to do much better on probation.
And state what's your recommendation, please.
Data for revocation, Judge.
All right, Mr. Hayek, this methamphetamine positive is my big issue here.
You want to say something, Mr. Chow?
Can I go to lifetime?
Well, here's the way it works. A, in a perfect world, somebody that wants to help himself would volunteer to go to inpatient drug alcohol rehab at the substance abuse treatment facility. In this particular case, if you were to volunteer for that, I would make it a minimum of 150 days, maximum of 180 days. So we would only order 120, but you got to volunteer for it. I don't want to waste your time and my time.
Sure.
The alternative is to go to jail for, well, I don't know, look like a year here.
No, I'd like to volunteer for rehab, sir, please.
That's
what he just told me. He goes, I like baby and
Ms. Gross, what's the wait for Via Serena? Not Via Serena, for SATA.
Let me double check, Your Honor. I believe it's about 6 weeks. Hang on.
Mr. Hayek, do you want to go in a chat room and chat with your client about those 2 options? Make
No,
sure you all understand.
no.
You're good?
No.
Okay.
Let me see. SATF wait time. Actually, right now there is no wait time. Once he is cleared medically.
Okay, and Mr. Hayek, if I understand correctly, your client is volunteering to go to SATA for 120 days. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right, love it.
Yes, sir.
Judge, we would ask that he remain in custody until a bed is available.
That's the plan. Tony, talk to me about the victim impact panel, the DWI intervention course, and the outpatient drug course, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety Intervention.
Your Honor, I regret I have no knowledge of that. I didn't represent him until this MTR.
Okay.
Judge, in the defendant's defense, he's only been on a little over a month. Not an excuse, but
That's actually kind of a good excuse for that. All right. Mr. Chow, on cause 646-357, the court accepts your plea of true to all conditions on the motion to revoke probation with an explanation. I deny the state's motion to revoke your probation, or you continued on probation with all prior requirements with no sanction at this time. And I thank you for volunteering to attend the substance abuse treatment facility for 120 days, primarily for methamphetamine addiction. You're going to be remanded without bond until an opening at SATA occurs. And Tony, you're welcome to stay in contact with us or them about when that may happen so you can keep your client informed. Once you get out of SATA, I'm going to require substantial compliance in all these other areas, and you can register for all these programs. You've got plenty of time to do that. All right, Susan, what else do we need to do?
That's all. Mr. Chow, someone will be sending you some paperwork to sign there at the jail. It will be your amended conditions. You need to sign those and send them back, okay?
And Tony, I'm annotating on this, on the order that's going to be out that your defendant volunteered for this. That's all good, and I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Your Honor.
All right. Good luck, Mr. Chow. Thank you, Mr. Hayek. You're excused.
Thank you.
Okay, let's start knocking out some pleas. This is our batting order. State of Texas versus Gerald Jerome Lomas, Bexar County Track 2 Veterans Treatment Court plea and probation agreement. Cause number 634525, represented by Mr. Joseph Macomb.
Yes, sir.
Cause 654137, State of Texas versus Kasia R. Howard, represented by Miss Ashley Morgan. Cause number 657158, State of Texas versus Michelle Ann Garcia, represented by Mr. Jeffrey Martinez. Cause number 613712, State of Texas versus Edward E. Ibanez, represented by Mr. George Dombart. And then we've got two cases for Mr. Fox, cause number 644797 and 644798 for State of Texas versus Tyler J. Fox, represented by Mr. Eric Hernandez. And last in this stick is going to be State of Texas versus Daniel Bohan, cause 633390, represented by Paul Goki. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I need you to identify a couple of documents for me. Your signatures on them, rather. The first document is entitled Defendant's Consent to Plea by Video Conference. Mr. Lomas, is this your signature on this document, sir?
That's correct, sir.
And Mr. Macomb, is this your signature on this document as attorney for Mr. Lomas? Joseph Macomb with us?
Yes, sir.
Okay, is that you?
Yes.
I apologize. I've got 50 pictures to look at. I can't see the individual. All right, so that's your signature, Mr. Macomb, is that correct?
He was here, Your Honor.
Joseph Macomb, can you hear me?
Yes, Judge, I can.
All right, and is this your signature on this document, sir?
Judge, I'm not seeing anything pop up. I'm sure it is if
No, I mean, this is just one you would have already filled out and sent in, but it's the defendant's consent to plea by video conference document.
it would be. Yes, Judge.
All right, thank you. And clause 654137, Ms. Howard, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, sir.
And Ms. Morgan, as attorney for Ms. Howard, is this also your signature on this document?
Judge Terry Carter for Miss Morgan, and that I can verify that that is Miss Morgan's signature.
Okay, thank you, Terry. And in clause 657158, Ms. Garcia, is this your signature on this document?
I think she just needs to take herself off of mute, Your Honor.
Michelle Garcia with us?
Yes, sir.
Okay, is this your signature on this document, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And Mr. Martinez, as attorney for Ms.
Yes.
Garcia, is this also your signature?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Ibanez, in clause 613712, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Dombard, as attorney for Mr. Ibanez, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. Mr. Fox, I have two documents for you, one in clause 644797 and one in 644798. Are these your signatures on each of these documents, sir?
Yes, sir, they are.
Thank you. And Mr. Hernandez, as attorney for Mr. Fox on both these cases, is this also your signature on each document?
It is, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Bohan, in clause 633390, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Goki, as attorney for Mr. Bohan, is this also your signature on this document?
It is.
Thank you. The next document I'm looking at is entitled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonition, that purports to have your signature on the back, effectively waiving certain constitutional rights you must waive in order to enter a plea before this court. In fact, Mr. Lomas, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Howard, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, sir.
Ms. Garcia, is this your signature on this document?
Ms. Garcia?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Oh, yes, sir.
All right. And Mr. Ibanez, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Fox, I have two documents for you. One in clause 644797 and one in clause 644798. Is this your signature on each of these documents?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And Mr. Bohan, in clause 633390, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. By signing this document, are each of you telling me that you've had enough time to either read this document or have it read to you in its entirety? If you had any question about what was on this document, those questions were answered to your satisfaction by your attorney. So that in signing these documents, you're telling me that you agree with and understand everything on these documents. Is that correct, Mr. Lomas?
That's correct, sir.
Is that correct, Ms. Howard?
Yes, sir.
Is that correct, Ms. Garcia?
Yes, sir.
Is that correct, Mr. Ibanez?
Yes, sir.
Is that correct, Mr. Fox, in both cases?
Yes, sir.
And is that correct, Mr. Bohan?
Yes, sir.
As attorney for Mr. Lomas, have you had enough time to go over this case with him? And in your opinion, is he mentally competent?
Judge, we've had plenty of time, and yes, he is competent.
Same question for attorney for Ms. Howard, Ms. Carter.
Yes, Judge.
Same question for attorney for Ms. Garcia, Mr. Martinez.
Yes, Your Honor, client's competent.
Thank you. Same question for attorney for Mr. Ibanez, Mr. Dunbar.
I believe so, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for attorney for Mr. Fox, Mr. Hernandez, in both cases.
In my opinion, yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Goki as attorney for Mr. Bohan.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Lomas, are you a United States citizen, sir?
That's correct, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Same question for Ms. Howard. Are you a United States citizen?
Yes, I am. Yes, sir.
Thank you. Is that yes? I'm sorry.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Same question for Ms. Garcia.
Yes, sir.
Same question for Mr. Ibanez.
Oh, yes, sir.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Fox in both cases.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Bohan.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. As attorney for Mr. Lomas, Mr. Macomb, has the state fully complied with discovery for you on this case?
They have, Judge.
Same question for Ms. Carter as attorney for Ms. Howard.
Yes, Judge.
Same question for Mr. Martinez as attorney for Ms. Garcia.
Yes, Your Honor.
Same question for Mr. Dombard as attorney for Mr. Ibanez.
Yes, Judge.
Same question for Mr. Hernandez as attorney for Mr. Fox in both cases.
Yes, Your Honor.
And same question for Mr. Goki as attorney for Mr. Bohan.
Yes, sir, and I've signed such a document.
Okay, Mr. Lomas, in clause 634525, to discharge of driving while intoxicated.
Judge?
Yeah.
Judge, it's gonna be a track 2, so I need to waive the enhancement.
Oh, I see it. Go ahead and make your motion, please.
The state moves to waive the enhancement and proceed as a DWI first.
Objection from the defense, that will be granted.
No objection.
Okay, that being said, now, Mr. Lomas, the charge of driving while intoxicated, first offense, how do you plead, sir?
Has anything changed, sir, from my understanding of anything changed?
I'm sorry, say again, sir?
Has anything changed?
It was originally filed as a driving while intoxicated with a blood or breath alcohol content greater than 0.15, which is a class A misdemeanor. And apparently your attorney has convinced them to reduce that and waive the enhancement. So now it's a class B misdemeanor, DWI first.
Yes, sir.
So how do you plead to driving while intoxicated first offense?
Guilty, sir.
All right. Let's see. Is there an agreement for Mr. Lomas?
Yes, Judge, it's 12 months deferred adjudication, the standard $1,000 all-inclusive fine, 48 hours community service probated, DWI education, DIP, Smart Start Mobile for half the term, BTC treatment completion and restitution, if any, to Victor Rodriguez Colon.
That's my understanding, Judge.
Defense, what's going on with the, I assume there was an accident, and has that all been taken care of, or is that still pending?
Judge, as far as that, I am aware it was just a small nick in the fender. There's been no restitution or contact, no subrogation notice from the other party's insurance company. They've gone on their way, Judge.
Okay, that's all good. Okay, let's make sure I get this right. Mr. Lomas, the court accepts your plea of guilty to the offense of driving while intoxicated. First offense, I find you, excuse me, although I have enough evidence to find you guilty, I'm going to withhold the finding of guilt. Place you on 1 year, deferred adjudication probation, assessing a $1,000 fine plus court costs, 48 hours of community service, probating all that based on your military service, DWI education course, DWI victim impact panel, Smart Start mobile home interlock at 4 blows a day for half the term, which is 6 months, outpatient drug with either the Veterans Administration or a VTC designated provider, and restitution is ordered, if any, to Victor Rodriguez. If that comes back and he owes money and the defense doesn't agree, we can have a restitution hearing at some future point. Nate, what did I miss?
Got it all, Judge.
Mr. Lomas, what did you do in the military, sir?
Sir, I served in the United States Air Force 27 years, aircraft maintenance, maintenance management, had a total of 1 year in Vietnam, 10 years in Europe, Spain, Germany, England, a year also in Japan. My background is numerous of aircraft engines, and maintenance management. I toured extensively throughout the Air Force as an IG inspector. I achieved the rank of senior master sergeant in the Air Force. At the time, after my retirement from the Air Force, I went into civil service, 27 years civil service, ran at Kelly Air Force Base, Randolph Air Force Base, maintenance management, and the T-38 program for depot maintenance for T-38 aircraft. I just retired from there a year ago.
Wow, you've been a busy man. Thanks for your service, sir.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Okay, Mr. Lomas and Mr. McComb are excused, and we'll go bother other people now.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, Ms. Howard, let's see what we got going here. Oh, I think we have a state motion on this.
Your Honor, I'm going to make a quick approach. I have another hearing in the County Court 15. Can I return? And,
I'm sorry,
for Sean Farmer. Sean Farmer.
Sean Farmer, go ahead.
Yes, sir. I have another hearing in County Court 15 for plea. Is it okay if I return shortly?
Absolutely. Go do that. And worst case scenario,
Sign off right now.
Yeah, and we'll take up.
And
Who's
close
your
it out.
client, Farmer?
Miss Beltran.
No problem. Thanks.
Yes, I just signed up at the meeting.
Okay. Would call 654-137, State of Texas versus Kasia R. Howard.
Yes, sir.
And State, you have a couple of motions, it appears.
Yes, Judge. The state moves to add a count 2 obstruction, waive count 1, and proceed on count 2.
No objection.
State's motion to amend the information alleging paragraph 2, obstruction of a highway, no objection from the defense is granted. Then state moving to waive paragraph 1 and proceeding on paragraph 2, no objection from the defense is granted. Okay. Ms. Howard, to the charge of obstruction of a highway, how do you plead, ma'am?
Guilty.
Is there an agreement from Ms. Howard?
14 months deferred adjudication, an $850 fine plus court costs, 24 hours community service, DWI education, DIP, CATSNP, and Smart Start mobile for half the term.
That is our understanding of the agreement, Your Honor.
Okay. Ms. Howard, the court accepts your plea of guilty to the offense of obstruction of a highway. Although I have enough evidence to find you guilty, I'm going to withhold a finding of guilt. Place you on 14 months, deferred adjudication probation. Says an $850 fine plus court costs, 24 hours community service, DWI education course, DWI victim impact panel, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program, outpatient drug, and Smart Start mobile at 4 blows a day for 7 months. Anything further from the state or the defense on Ms. Howard?
Nothing further, Judge.
Good luck, Ms. Howard. Thank you, Ms. Carter.
Thank you,
Judge, may I chime in, please?
I'm sorry, say again?
May I chime in, please?
Sure.
Anybody that is granted probation today, you will be contacted within the next 48 hours by the intake department. If you do not hear from them, you need to write this telephone number down and call them on Monday morning. You can reach them at 210-335-7446. Let them know that you were placed on probation today and that you need an intake date. They will reach out to you via email or text. You must respond to them. You must attend orientation, or the judge will issue a warrant for your arrest for failure to sign your conditions. That's all. Thanks, Judge.
Okay, no problem. Now we're back on 657-158, State of Texas versus Michelle Ann Garcia. And state you have a motion on this case, it would appear.
Yes, Judge. The state moves to waive the enhancement and proceed as a DWI first.
No objection from the defense, Your Honor.
Imagine not. Okay, state's motion to waive the greater than 0.15 or higher enhancement. No objection from the defense is granted. Therefore, Ms. Garcia to the charge of driving while intoxicated, first offense. How do you plead, ma'am?
No contest.
There's an agreement for Ms. Garcia.
6/12, a $500 fine plus court costs, 48 hours community service, $60 to DPS, DWI education, DIP, CAD/SNP, and Smart Start Mobile for half the term.
And defense, is that your understanding of the agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Garcia, the court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of driving while intoxicated, first offense. Although I have enough evidence to find you guilty, I'm going to withhold a finding of guilt. Place you on 14 months deferred adjudication probation. It says a $500 fine plus court costs, 48 hours community service, $60 reimbursement fee to the Texas Department of Public Safety, DWI education course, DWI victim impact panel, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety new intervention program, outpatient drug, and the Smart Start mobile device at 4 blows a day for 6 months. Anything further from the state of the defense on Ms. Garcia?
No, Judge.
Good luck, Ms. Garcia. Thank you, Mr. Martinez.
Thank you, Your Honor.
613-712, State of Texas versus Edward A. Ibanez. And let's see. Mr. Ibanez to the charge of driving while intoxicated, first offense. How do you plead, sir?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Is there an agreement for Mr. Ibanez?
6/12, a $500 fine, but $250 of that is probated, plus court costs, 36 hours community service, $60 to DPS, an APSE course, DWI education, DIP, CAD/SNP, and Smart Start Mobile for half the term.
And did you say APSE, like a stress management course? Is that correct?
Correct, Judge.
Okay, defense, is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, Judge, that's our understanding of it. That is our agreement, Your Honor. Although we were going to ask if we could hold the Smart Start in abeyance. This is a 2-year-old case. He has not had any problems or anything since he was last arrested, when he was arrested originally on the case. Also, we would ask that he has a GPS that's been part of his pretrial conditions. We'd ask that the GPS be removed, Your Honor.
Okay, he's gonna need to stay on the Smart Start mobile for at least half the term. I'm sorry it's that way, but it's that way. We're certainly gonna waive all the pretrial conditions that I put on him. Let me go through this and make sure I get it all correctly, George.
Just one other thing then, Judge. Is there a way that we could make it so that he doesn't have to pay the fee for the Smart Start device? He's been having trouble trying to work with the GPS, and I know he was trying to get back to where he was before. And he's having financial issues right now, Your Honor. That's why we probated out some of the fines. I mean, I've had to forego. I haven't even been paid on my fee yet on it either, Your Honor.
If Mr. Ibanez is indigent, he can fill out the form. I don't know that Bexar County actually has a program to pay for these breath testing devices. I don't recall ever seeing it happen before, but you're welcome to investigate that. And if he really truly is indigent by Texas state standards, It's okay with me, if it's okay with the state of Texas. So feel free to research that and get back to me on that.
All right, Judge.
All right. Mr. Ibanez in cause 613712. Court accepts your plea of guilty to the offense of driving while intoxicated. First offense, I find you guilty. I said 6 months in the Bexar County Jail, probated for 12 months. $500 fine, probating $350 of that plus court costs, 36 hours community service, $60 reimbursement fee to the Texas Department of Public Safety, the APSE, stress management course, DWI education course, DWI victim impact panel, Smart Start mobile home interlock for 6 months at 4 blows a day. And I will remove all prior pretrial conditions, including GPS and the other bad things I did. Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. Ibanez?
Nothing further, Judge.
No, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. Y'all are dismissed.
Thanks, Judge. Have a good day.
Okay. Squad number 644797. State of Texas versus Tyler J. Fox. And in cause 644797, Mr. Fox is charged of driving while intoxicated, open container. State, are we leaving the open container on this one?
Correct, Judge.
Okay. How do you plead, sir?
No contest.
Okay.
No contest.
I got you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
And is there an agreement, State?
1/1, $500 fine, but $250 of that is probated, plus court costs, 48 hours community service, probated, DWI education, DIP, CAD SNP, Smart Start mobile for half the term, restitution, if any, to Tyrone Lamar Lovings, and this will run concurrent with cause number 644798.
And Mr. Hernandez, is that your understanding of the agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Fox in cause 644797. The court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of driving while intoxicated with an open container. I find you guilty. It says 1 year in the Bexar County Jail, probated for 1 year, a $500 fine, probating $250 of that plus court costs, 48 hours of community service, providing all of that. DWI education course, DWI victim impact panel, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program, outpatient drugs, Smart Start mobile, at 4 blows a day for 6 months, and restitution, if any, to Tyrone Lamar Lovings. And this case run concurrent with 644798. If restitution does become an issue, Mr. Hernandez, and they come back with an amount that the defense does not agree with, obviously we can have a restitution hearing at that time.
I'll keep Mr. Fox informed and the court.
Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. Fox in 644797?
Nothing further, Judge.
Mr. Fox in 644798 to the charge of unlawfully carrying a handgun. How do you plead?
No contest, sir.
And is there an agreement for Mr. Fox in 644798?
1/1, $500 fine, but $250 is probated, plus court costs, 48 hours community service, probated, a gun safety course, motion to forfeit the weapon, and it will run concurrent with cause number 644797.
And what kind of weapon is this? I know it's a handgun.
It's a 1911, Your Honor, and I filed a motion to have that awarded to me, and I can provide an order to the court that provides that it will not be returned in any manner to the defendant, if the court would take that up.
Promise not to drop it on your foot.
I will do my best. And that was e-filed today, Your Honor. If you do not have it, I'll be glad to provide it.
No, that's okay. We're good. Okay. Mr. Fox, in cause 644798, the court accepts your plea of no contest to the charge of unlawfully carrying a weapon. Find you guilty. I says 1 year in the Bexar County Jail, probated for 1 year, 48 hours of community service, probating all of that. A firearms safety course. This case will run concurrent with 644797. State's motion to destroy the weapon is denied. The weapon is awarded to defense counsel as additional attorney's fees with the understanding it is not to be returned to the defendant, his family, or his friends. Anything further from this? Oh, that's ACC with 644-797. Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. Fox and 644-798?
Nothing further, Judge.
Nothing from the defense, Your Honor.
Okay, y'all are dismissed. Thank you.
Good luck to you, Mr. Fox. I'll be in touch.
All right, thanks, sir.
Okay, cause 633-390, State of Texas versus Daniel L. Bohan. And state, you have a motion on this one, it appears.
Yes, Judge. The state moves to waive the enhancement and proceed as a DWI first.
And there's no objection to that, sir.
State's motion to waive the greater than 0.15 enhancement, no objection from the defense is granted. So, Mr. Bohan, charge of driving while intoxicated, first offense, how do you plead, sir?
No contest, sir.
Is there an agreement for Mr. Bohan?
12 months deferred adjudication, $1,000 fine plus court costs, 48 hours community service, DWI education, DIP, CAD SNP, and Smart Start Mobile for half the term.
That is the agreement, sir.
Mr. Bohan, the court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of driving while intoxicated, first offense. So I have enough evidence to find you guilty. I'm going to withhold the finding of guilt. Place you on 1 year deferred adjudication probation that sets a $1,000 fine plus court cost, 48 hours community service, DWI education course, DWI victim impact panel, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program, and Smart Start mobile portable breath testing device at 4 blows a day for 6 months. Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Bohan?
Nothing further, Judge.
Nothing from us, sir.
Good luck, Mr. Bohan. Thank you, Mr. Goki.
Thank you.
Okay. Have we heard from Rose DeBell? Was she going to run late?
I'm here, Judge. I'm here at the MAG office, but I'm online.
Okay, all good. So we're ready on Miss Alvarez. Is that what you're telling me?
We are, Your Honor.
Okay, perfect. Okay, at this time, we're going to take 656612, State of Texas versus Viviana Alvarez, represented by Ms. Rose LaBelle. 650834, State of Texas versus Tony C. Almeida, represented by Mr. Roy Barrera Jr. Cause number 656680, State of Texas versus Alex Hinojosa, represented by Mr. Sharif Ghazawi. Cause number 655767, State of Texas versus Jacob J. Juarez Jr., represented by Mr. Ray Lopez. And cause 644922, State of Texas versus Richard Alexander De Castro, represented by Mr. Ben Stevenson.
Yes, sir.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I need you to identify your signatures for me. The first document I'm looking at is titled Defendant's Consent to Plea by Video Conference. Ms. Alvarez, is this your signature on this document, ma'am?
Yes, yes, Your
Thank
Honor.
you. And Ms. Zabel, as attorney for Ms. Alvarez, is also your signature on this document.
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
Thank you. Mr. Alameda, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Pereira, as attorney for Mr. Alameda, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, sir.
If y'all are not talking to me, please turn your microphone off so we don't get any background noise. Okay, Mr. Hinojosa, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Ganawi is attorney for Mr. Hinojosa.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Juarez, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Unmute yourself, Mr. Water.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you, sir. Mr. Lopez, as attorney for Mr. Juarez, is this also your signature on this document?
It is, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. De Castro, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Stevenson, as attorney for Mr. De Castro, is this your signature on this document?
It is, Your Honor.
Thank you. The next document I'm looking at is entitled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions. It purports to have your signatures on the back, effectively waiving certain constitutional rights you must waive in order to enter a plea before this court. Mr. Alvarez, or excuse me, Miss Alvarez, is this your signature on this document, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Alameda, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Hinojosa, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Juarez, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. DeCastro, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
By signing this document, are each of you telling me that you've had enough time to either read this document or have it read to you in its entirety? If you had any questions about what was on this document, those questions were answered to your satisfaction by your attorney. So that in signing this document, you're telling me that you agree with and understand everything on this document. Is that correct, Ms. Alvarez?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that correct, Mr. Alameda?
Yes, sir.
Is that correct, Mr. Hinojosa?
Yes, sir.
Is that correct, Mr. Juarez?
Yes, Your Honor.
And is that correct, Mr. DeCastro?
Yes, Your Honor.
As attorney for Ms. Alvarez, have you had enough time to go over this case with her? And in your opinion, is she mentally competent?
She is, Your Honor.
Same question for attorney for Mr. Alameda, Mr. Barrera.
Yes, sir.
Same question for attorney for Mr. Hinojosa, Mr. Gazawi.
Yes, Judge.
Same question for attorney for Mr. Juarez, Mr. Lopez.
Yes, Your Honor.
And same question for attorney for Mr. DeCastro, Mr. Stevenson. Ben, can you hear me?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is this,
I think I accidentally got muted.
all right. Basically, I'm asking you if you've had enough time to go over this case with your client and whether or not you feel they're mentally competent.
Yes to both, Your Honor.
All good. Okay. Ms. Alvarez, are you a United States citizen, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
Same question for Mr. Alameda.
Yes, sir.
Same question for Mr. Hinojosa.
Yes, sir.
Yes?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Same question for Mr. Juarez.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. DeCastro.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Ms. Isabel, as attorney for Ms. Alvarez, has the state fully complied with discovery for you on this case?
They have, Your Honor.
Same question for Mr. Barrera, as attorney for Mr. Alameda.
Yes, sir.
Same question for Mr. Gazawi, as attorney for Mr. Hinojosa.
Yes, Your Honor.
Same question for Mr. Lopez, as attorney for Mr. Juarez.
Yes, Your Honor.
Same question for Mr. Stevenson, as attorney for Mr. DeCastro, please.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Let's see. And state, give any motions on Ms. Alvarez case?
No, Judge.
Okay, Ms. Alvarez, in charge of driving while intoxicated with a blood or breath alcohol content greater than 0.15. How do you plead?
No contest.
Is there an agreement for Ms. Alvarez?
1/1, a $500 fine plus court cost, 48 hours community service, DWI education, DIP, CAD SNP, and Smart Start Mobile.
And Ms. Isabel, is that your understanding of the agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Alvarez, in clause 656612, the court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of driving while intoxicated with a blood or breath alcohol content greater than 0.15. I find you guilty. I said 1 year in the Bexar County Jail, probated for 1 year. $500 fine plus court costs, 48 hours community service, DWI education course, DWI victim impact panel, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program, and Smart Start Mobile home interlock device for 4 blows a day for 6 months. Anything further from the state of the defense on Ms. Alvarez?
Thank you, Judge.
Good luck,
No,
Ms.
Your
Alvarez.
Honor.
Thank you, Ms. Bell.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, let's do that here. And no motions on Mr. Alameda's case, correct?
That's
Correct,
Judge.
Sorry, is that yes or no?
Yes.
What's your motion?
I mean, no, yes, you're correct, Judge. Sorry.
Yes, there's no motion.
There's no motion, Judge.
All right. Mr. Alameda, clause 650834, to the charge of driving while intoxicated, second offense. Have you please, sir?
No contents.
Is there an agreement for Mr. Alameda?
1/1, a $500 fine plus court costs, 48 hours community service, $60 to DPS, DWI intervention, DIP, CAD SNP, and Smart Start Mobile for half the term.
And Mr. Pereira, is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Alameda, the Court of Hope accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of driving while intoxicated. Second offense, I find you guilty. I says 1 year in the Bear County Jail, probated for 1 year, $500 fine plus court costs, 48 hours community service, $60 reimbursement fee to the Texas Department of Public Safety, DWI intervention program, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety, outpatient drug, DWI victim impact panel, and Smart Start Mobile for 6 months, half the term at 4 blows a day. Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Alameda?
Nothing further, Judge.
Mr. Pereira, is that good?
Yes, sir. We're good. Thank you.
All excused, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Hinojosa, call 656-680 for the charge of theft, $100 to $750, Class B. How do you plead, sir?
No contest.
Is there an agreement for Mr. Hinojosa?
6 months deferred adjudication, $200 fine plus court costs, 24 hours community service, and an ATSE course.
And defense, is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Hinojosa, 656-680, the court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of theft, $100 to $750. Although I have enough evidence to find you guilty, I'm going to withhold the finding of guilt. Place you on 6 months, deferred adjudication probation. It says a $200 fine plus court cost, 24 hours community service, and the ATSE anti-theft course. Anything further from the state or the defense of Mr. Hinojosa?
Nothing further, Judge.
Nothing.
Good luck, Mr. Hinojosa. Thank you, Mr. Gazawi.
Thank you, Judge.
Mr. Juarez, in clause 655-767. And say you got a motion on this. Go ahead.
Correct, Judge. The state moves to waive the enhancement and proceed as a DWI first.
No objection, Your Honor.
Thanks. State's motion to waive the open container enhancement, no objection from the defense is granted. Therefore, Mr. Juarez, the charge of driving while intoxicated, first offense, how do you plead, sir?
No contest.
Is there an agreement for Mr. Juarez?
16 months deferred adjudication, $500 fine plus court costs, 24 hours community service, DWI education, DIP, PAT-SNP, and Smart Start Mobile for half the term.
And defense, is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Juarez, in clause 655-767, the court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of driving while intoxicated, first offense. Although I have enough evidence to find you guilty, I'm going to withhold a finding of guilt. Place you on 16 months, deferred adjudication probation, assessing a $500 fine plus court cost, 24 hours community service, DWI education course, DWI victim impact panel, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program, outpatient drug, and Smart Start Mobile Home Interlock at 4 blows a day for 8 months. Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Juarez?
Nothing further, Judge.
No, Your Honor.
Good luck, Mr. Juarez. Thank you, Mr. Lopez.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And in clause 644-922, State of Texas versus Richard Alexander de Castro. No motions, it appears. To the charge of failure to report highway damage in excess of $200. How do you plead, sir?
No contest, Your Honor.
Is there an agreement for Mr. de Castro?
1 day in the Bear County Jail, $200 fine plus court costs, credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent, and we ask this be a judgment satisfied.
And defense, is that your understanding of the agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
This sounds like Mr. de Castro drives the same as his attorney does, in my experience.
I'd be glad to talk to you about my driving habits off the record if that would make you happy, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. de Castro, in clause 644-922, court accepts your plea of no contest to the charge of failure to report highway damage in excess of $200. I find you guilty. I assess 1 day in the Bear County Jail, a $300 fine plus court costs, credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent, judgment satisfied. Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. DeCastro?
Nothing further, Judge.
Good luck, Mr. DeCastro. Thank you, Mr. Stevenson.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor. May we be excused?
You bet. Pat, do we have other pleas that have come in that I'm unaware of?
Your Honor, hold on. You need to sign June De Leon's paperwork, and then we are ready for her. If Miss Petrazak is back, she had to go to another court. And we have Mr. Cano, who needs to talk to you about his defendant. There is an issue with that, and that is Taylor Snyder. And then I believe Joseph is probably going to want to talk to you about Sean Clark.
Let's talk to Mr. Cano about Miss Snyder. What's going on with Miss Snyder, I guess?
All right, Judge. So, okay, she's got this an unrelated felony, and here's the deal. She was going to plea on your case, and that felony was going to be dismissed. And so I talked to her on the phone a couple of weeks ago. She was okay with and we're happy about our agreement. And then I brought her in yesterday to go over the paperwork, sign it and send it in. And had a lot of difficulty with her. Her mother was here. Her mother's here today. And she had, the bottom line here is, Judge, is my client doesn't understand what's going on. I filed a motion for competency today. She was supposed to be here at the docket call, but then she walked out of here but shortly before before the docket was called, but her mom is still here. But so I've already filed a motion for competency with the proposed order, Judge. So she can't help me. She's not going to be able to get through a plea.
Let me back up. Does she have a felony pending in Bear County or somewhere else?
She got one here, Judge, in the 187th.
And what is that?
That's an evading.
Evading. Is that linked to the same circumstances as DWI thing?
No, sir.
No?
No.
Okay. State, were you aware this lady had a felony pending? Because normally y'all don't proceed on these misdemeanor cases or the felony pending.
Yes, Judge, we knew, but it was a separate occurrence, and this is actually, we were given the okay by the felony.
Okay. So basically, the defense is moving for a competency evaluation. Would that be accurate?
Yes, Judge.
State, I assume you have no objection to that.
No, Judge.
No objection, Judge.
All right, we're going to order a competency evaluation on Miss Snyder. Is she going to show up for this competency evaluation, do you think?
I can't say, Judge. I honestly, I don't know. I don't know, Judge.
All right. Well, as far as I'm concerned, she's FTA today. She showed up for a while, but she left without permission. So what I would like you to do is contact her before I do bad things and see if she's willing to cooperate. As long as she's willing to cooperate and show up when she's supposed to show up, I don't have to put her in jail, okay? But these competency evaluations go much quicker, as you're probably well aware, when somebody is in jail than when they're outside.
Sure.
I don't want to put anybody in jail unless we have to. So anyway, I'll let you be the judge of whether you think she's going to show or not. But most defendants aren't happy when they have to have a competency evaluation, are they?
No.
All right. Well, as of right now, she's FTA, but I'm holding off on doing anything until I hear back from you by, I would say, next Wednesday or something. That'd be okay?
Yeah, sure, Judge. Should I no problem.
All right.
Yeah.
And Pat, just remind me to find that order or whatever, and we'll get that going. That's probably going to take at least 2 months or more to get a competency evaluation.
Yes, Your Honor. I have it written down and I will remind you.
And then who's talking to me about Sean Clark?
It would be Joseph.
I'm here. What's going on with Sean Clark?
So I'm checking the Zoom and it looks
He
like
left.
he did. So last week you asked Sean Clark, is he going to plea or want trial? And his response to you was he wanted a 30-day reset. He won't talk to Monica or I. Monica spoke with him today. He won't indicate whether he is going to plea, and he will not sign the plea paperwork. So Monica just says set for trial, but it's your discretion. You wanted to speak to Mr. Clark today, and he exited Zoom. So I don't know how you want to proceed.
Is Mr. Clark currently in jail?
On
No,
bond.
Your Honor.
Oh, he's on bond.
Yes, Your Honor. And he did sign in, but he was only in there for 5 minutes or so.
Joseph, does he need a competency evaluation? Also, he's passing up 2 JSATs for the heinous offense of 2 times criminal trespass.
I'll have to get with Monica with that because Monica's actually spoke with him. I have not spoken to him.
Okay, as for right now, let's just set him for jury trials on both of those. First,
Okay.
Judge Monica's request. Pat, give me some background information on what his priors are, stuff like that.
Okay, I'll send it to him. I'll send you the information, Your Honor.
Doesn't sound rational to get rid of these things and not worry about it, but that's up to him. All right, Joseph, we're good on that.
I have one other case to approach on.
What do you got?
For Joanne de Hoyos, 568-269.
Is it a plea or
It is
an MTR?
It is an MTR on Zachary Root, Your Honor.
Yeah.
And it is on.
Mr. Reed is on, and Joanne had sent me here today. Joanne believed that Mr. Root was going to hire other counsel.
Your Honor, if you might, we reset him. He was on once before. We reset him. He said he was going to hire counsel. As of yet, he had not, but he was set again for today.
He can find better lawyers than Judge Joanne and Joseph? I don't think so. Good luck on that.
I never requested new counsel. My lawyer was changed that day, and Joanne said she could reset it 10 days so I could get her documents about my case.
Okay, Mr. Root. Oh, Mr. Root, slow down. I got you. Stand by. Okay. Let me pull your file real quick and see what we're dealing with. Here it is. Okay, so what is it you want to do, Mr. Root? Go ahead.
I was happy with Joanne's counsel. I don't know why. I never said I was going to hire a new lawyer. I sent her documentation about my case, but this is the third attorney I've had on the case. And every time it comes to the court date, the reason it got rescheduled last time, my attorney didn't show up. He had a medical emergency. I got Joanne. Then I give her the documentation for the court case, and then she's not here. And again, so I just want a lawyer that is familiar with my case. So I'd like to reset it so I could see what's going on and give them the documentation I have.
And Joseph, where is Judge Joanne today?
Let me check her calendar. She had been traveling for Zavala County for jury trial. I believe she finished it. And I believe she had a doctor's eye appointment today at this time.
Let's just run. Well, see, Pat, you're going to be here or gone next week. You'll be here through Wednesday, right?
Yes.
All right, let's put him on Wednesday. Will that work for you, Mr. Root?
Yes, sir. As long as I have the same lawyer that's familiar with the case.
Yeah, we'll get Judge Joanne there for you. No problem. Mr. Stateson's an excellent attorney, by the way, just for the record.
Yeah, I thought she was awesome.
They work hand in hand. Mr. Stateson is kind of Judge Joanne's hitman. It's kind of how they. Yeah, but it's not a problem. We'll just run it to next Wednesday at what time, Pat? 10?
Whatever you want, Your Honor.
Do we have a hearing or a docket at 10 that morning?
We have nothing on Wednesday. I do believe, I believe we have staffing in the afternoon, so we would have to do it at 10 in the morning.
What day does your vacation start?
The 24th.
So we have
noon.
On Thursday, the 24th, we have fees at 10 in the morning, correct?
Yes.
We already have a bunch set. Wednesday would be best, Judge.
We have approximately 18 already set for 9:30 in the morning, Your Honor.
On Thursday.
Yes.
24th.
Yes.
Anything set for Wednesday morning, the 23rd?
Not anything Wednesday morning. That would be a perfect time.
let's do that. And let's say 10 o'clock. Is that okay with you, Mr. Root?
Yes, sir.
And then if you've got other cases, you can move from the big docket to the smaller docket. That would be helpful probably.
I'll try as much as I can.
And I
should.
understand, but we're playing the cards as we're dealt. Hey, no
I
problem,
know
Mr.
that.
Root. We'll see you next week on Wednesday morning at 10 o'clock on Zoom. Okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you,
sir.
Judge.
And let's see where we were at before all this was going down. So Mr. Root's getting reset. And Ms. Petracek is back. You say we're ready on her. I just need to get documents printed. Is that correct?
You just need to sign it and print it.
All right, let me do that. Let's take a 5-minute break, guys.
Yes.
Susan, you're not muted. Susan, you're not muted.
Hey, Pat, are you there?
Yes, sir.
On Miranda, we're ready.
I understand. Okay. He's
Okay.
about to start the MTRs.
No, I just want to let you know, I didn't know if you needed an update.
No, we're fine. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Pat, I'm also in County Court 11 to have an MTR sentencing. So if I don't respond, I'm with Judge Stohansky.
I'll let the judge know.
Thank you.
Okay, I've signed these documents. Are you going to send them back to me?
We're still in court, correct?
Yes, we're still in.
Okay.
We're gonna start in a
All
few
right.
minutes. He was getting paperwork.
All right, thank you, ma'am.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, Judge.
Yes, sir.
And is Rose DeBell back with her plea?
She's already done it, Your Honor.
We did it, good. The only one we have is Mary Petracek with
Yes,
DeLeon.
Your Honor. Yes, and then at the MTRs.
All right. It's called 653301, State of Texas versus June, Eileen DeLeon, represented by Miss Mary Petracek. Ms. DeLeon and Ms. Petracek, I'm looking at a document entitled Defendant's Consent to Plea by Video Conference that purportedly has both your signatures on it. In fact, Ms. DeLeon, is this your signature on this document, ma'am?
Ms. DeLeon?
Yes, it is.
Thank
Can
you,
hear
ma'am.
me?
And Ms. Petracek, as attorney for Ms. DeLeon, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
Thank you. The next document I have, Ms. DeLeon, is entitled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions that purports to have your signature on the back, effectively waiving certain constitutional rights you must waive in order to enter a plea before this court. In fact, Ms. DeLeon, is this your signature on this document also?
Yes.
Thank you. By signing this document, are you telling me that you've had enough time to either read this document or have it read to you in its entirety? If you had any questions about what was on this document, those questions were answered to your satisfaction by your attorney, Ms. Petracek. So that in signing this document, you're telling me that you agree with and understand everything on this document. Is that correct, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Petracek, as attorney for Ms. DeLeon, have you had enough time to go over this case with her, and in your opinion, is she mentally competent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. DeLeon, are you a United States citizen, ma'am?
Yes.
And Ms. Petracek, has the state fully complied with discovery for you on this case?
Yes, Your Honor, they have.
Okay. State, you have a motion on this case.
Yes, Judge. The state moves to waive the enhancement and proceed as a DWI first.
No objections.
I imagine not. Objection from the defense. State's motion to waive the greater than 0.15 enhancement is granted. Therefore, Ms. DeLeon, to the charge of driving while intoxicated, first offense, how do you plead?
No content.
Is there an agreement for Ms. DeLeon?
14 months deferred adjudication, $500 fine plus court costs, 24 hours community service, DWI education, DIP, CAT SNP, and Smart Start Mobile for half the term.
And Ms. Petracek, is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, Your Honor. Did she say BIP or VIP?
Is what now? I'm sorry?
Did she say BIP or VIP?
The victim impact panel.
Okay. Yes, Judge, that's our understanding of the agreement. Also, we have
Mary, it looks like you're frozen. Can you still hear me?
related over to the state
He's really.
panel to the state. Judge, can you hear me?
Frozen. Can you hear us now, Mary?
I can hear you, Judge. Yes.
All right, we're good. So is that your understanding of the agreement?
Yes, Judge.
All right. Ms. DeLeon, in cause number 653301, the court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of driving while intoxicated, first offense. Although I have enough evidence to find you guilty, I'm going to withhold a finding of guilt. Place you on 14 months deferred adjudication probation. It says a $500 fine plus court costs, 24 hours community service, DWI education course, DWI victim impact panel, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program outpatient drug, and the Smart Start mobile home device for 7 months. Anything further from the state of the defense on Ms. DeLeon?
Nothing further, Judge.
Nothing from the defense, Judge.
Good luck, Ms. DeLeon. Thank you, Ms. Petracek.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Judge. May I be excused?
You bet.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see. Is Mr. Station still with us, or do you have to get called away somewhere?
He got called away, Your
No
Honor.
problem. Scott Martinez, are you ready on Mr. Hernandez?
Your Honor, that's
Yes.
Mr. Simpkins.
Yes,
Oh,
yes,
Scott.
Judge. We were just hired in that. No, Christopher Simpkins,
Okay,
Judge.
Simpkins, gotcha. Okay, so Chris Simpkins, you're representing Mr. Christopher Hernandez and call 652-488. Okay. 652-488, State of Texas versus Christopher Hernandez, represented by Mr. Chris Simpkins. This is a motion to revoke community supervision. Mr. Simpkins, my understanding is this is an uncontested MTR. Would that be accurate?
Yes, with some context, Judge.
All right. The record reflects that Ms. Susan Gross represents the CSCD. She's been previously sworn. Ms. Alexis O'Connor represents the Bear County Criminal District Attorney's Office. On the motion to revoke community supervision, how does Mr. Hernandez plead?
True, Judge.
All right. Ms. Gross, would you please advise the court and the parties of the status of Mr. Hernandez probation, please?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Hernandez has been reporting as directed. We last saw him on June 4th of 2021. He's paid $721 towards his fees. He has a balance of $25 and he's current at this time. We have no record of any of his 48 hours community service having been completed. He's currently on Smart Start mobile testing 4 times a day, and he's had a high BRAC of 0.030. He had alcohol violations via the Smart Start only. He's had no positive drug tests. He's completed victim impact panel. We have no proof of enrollment or completion of the CAT-SNP program or the DWI intervention program. This is his first violation report, first motion to revoke. He has no criminal history, and his officer is recommending that you increase the Smart Start mobile device to 6 times a day and that he show proof of enrollment in CAT-SNP within 5 days.
Hey, Mr. Hernandez, you gonna stop drinking?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, that's all I need to know. Chris, what else would you like to tell me?
I've been trying to,
He's registered for the DWI intervention. He's taking this seriously, and you won't see him again, Judge.
Good news. State recommendation.
On with probation, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Hernandez in cause 652-488. The court accepts your plea of true to all conditions on the motion to revoke community supervision. I deny the state's motion to revoke your community supervision. Order you continued on community supervision with all prior requirements and no sanction at this time. Although I have the authority to put you in jail for 30 days to get your attention. Do we need to do that, or do you think we got it?
no, you don't have to do that, Your Honor. I got it.
Fair enough. Let's alter and amend conditions on his Smart Start mobile device. Crank it up to 6 blows a day from 4 blows a day. Show me a 30-day period of time, Mr. Hernandez, where you haven't missed any blows at 6 blows a day and there are no high BRACs for alcohol, and we'll crank you back down to 4, no hard feelings. Does that work?
Yes, Your Honor.
And then otherwise, substantial compliance, but I think you're already doing that from what Ms. Gross is telling me. We just need to stop hanging out with our buddies and having condescending drinking light beer from Miller or whatever that was.
Yes, sir.
All right. Is that okay with you, Mr. Simpkins?
It is, Your Honor.
All right. Good luck. Mr. Hernandez, you're out of here. Thanks.
Thank you.
Mr. Hernandez, before you go, you're going to be receiving an email within the next 24 hours from your officer to amend your conditions. You need to sign that document and send it back to your officer. She will also advise you of what your new blow times will be, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Or I'm sorry, Mr. Fonseca, okay?
Yes.
Any questions?
No, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you. Don't come back.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Albert, are we ready on Miss Miranda?
Yes, Your Honor, we should be ready.
637-501, State of Texas for the Lillian Miranda. And This is a motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. First, I need y'all to identify your signatures on two documents. Ms. Miranda, the first one is titled Defendant's Consent Motion to Revoke Hearing by Video Conference. Is this your signature on this document, ma'am?
Yes, sir, it is.
Thank you. And Mr. Acevedo, as attorney for Ms. Miranda, is this also your signature?
It is, Your Honor.
Thank you.
What happened to video on Miss Miranda?
I'm on, oh, it froze. Hold on. Bear with me. Are you there?
Yeah, as long as you can talk to us, that's all I need.
Yeah, it just froze, but I'm here.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Miranda, the next document I'm looking at is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, which is adjudication of self following a deferred adjudication. The defendant has a limited right of appeal. Is it your signature on this document?
Yes, sir, it is.
Mr. Acevedo, as attorney, Miranda is
Yes, it is, Your Honor. Yes, it is.
okay. And Mr. Acevedo, my understanding is this is an uncontested motion to revoke. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Miranda, to the motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke supervision, how do you plead, ma'am?
Not guilty?
It is
Or
either
fault-
true or not true.
Not true.
Not,
There's an echo, Your Honor. Can you repeat yourself, please?
I'm confusing Ms. Miranda.
okay, there. It's Miranda, when she opens hers up, we get the echo.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Basically, I'm asking how she pleads, and I think she told me not true.
I believe she did, Your Honor. We provided probation with documentation and proof of things regarding the MTR.
Let me back up. I mean, if she's done everything now and she hadn't done it then, that makes perfect sense. But obviously, you have the right to a fully uncontested motion to revoke probation, or you can defer to me to be the trier of fact. And you can still say it's contested, but you go to me for a decision instead of have a knockdown drag out. Does that make sense?
Understanding. We can read the violations off. They're gonna be true with the explanation.
Okay, so how does Ms. Miranda plead once more for the record, please?
It's gonna be true with an explanation, Your Honor.
Fair enough. Ms. Gross, would you please advise the court and the party the status of Ms. Miranda?
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Miranda has been reporting as directed. We last saw her on May 28th of 2021. She has paid her case in full. She has completed all 24 hours of community service, as well as her theft class. She has one positive drug test for methamphetamines, and one negative drug test. This is her first violation report, first MTR, and she has one prior driving while license suspended. In regards to the positive drug test, I have received proof of prescription drugs which would test positive for amphetamines. And this case, or the drug test, was never sent out for confirmation. So we can't fully confer that it is amphetamines or amphetamines, methamphetamines. But she does have 4 different prescriptions, all of which would result in a positive drug test.
And all of them, the prescriptions were active at the time that this drug test was taken.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right.
And the officer is recommending that she do weekly drug tests and that she be enrolled in the CATSNP program as an additional condition of probation within 10 days. And personally, I would like to add on that if we do have another positive drug test for amphetamines, methamphetamines, that she be required to pay for a confirmation test, just to make sure that we're dealing with prescriptions and not something off the street.
Do I have the authority to order the probation department to always send confirmation out on all methamphetamine / amphetamine hits and the county pays for it? Do I have the authority to do that?
No, sir.
I bet I do. You want to bet?
Well, you are the big cheese, but
All right, here's how it works. You're wasting our time, you're wasting Mr. Acevedo's time, you're wasting Ms. Miranda's time. If we can't sell what the heck she's allegedly taking, we can't educatedly make decent decisions with regard to her probation count.
Judge, all the officers have already been instructed that anytime a methamphetamine hit comes back positive, that they are to instruct the defendant within 24 hours to have that sent out for confirmation at the defendant's expense. And for whatever reason, it is not being done.
And this was on April 13th, 2021.
Correct.
Hey, Miss Miranda, did anybody at the probation department ask you to pay $25?
I paid, the payment was $15, sir. And on the 26th, when I was informed of my false test, because it's not true, immediately I started sending emails to my probation officer, showing her the prescriptions that I was taking. She instructed me to go down to the office on West Commerce Street, pay $15 for my confirmation, in which and she gave me the ID number of the sample that I gave on the day that I was instructed, the date, the assigned, labeling, to have it confirmed. And I followed the instructions. I paid $15 so that they could confirm what exactly they were testing for.
Susan, I don't need to now. At some point in time, research that, see if that happened. And the state didn't really send off the alleged positive substance to get tested. And let's take a look at that.
Judge, real quick, Judge, I probably should have brought this up ahead of time. I don't know why there's so much feedback.
It's unfortunately, it's Ms. Miranda's. When she opens up, that's what's giving us feedback. I don't know whether it's because she's somewhere or using her phone.
Okay. All right. Well, Judge, I probably should have brought this up earlier, but it was the state's intent to withdraw this MTR and term unsat, considering she has paid everything and done all the community service and taken her classes, and the fact that her one positive drug test clearly was from a prescription medication that she had taken, and she's provided proof of everything.
Judge, you're muted. You're still muted, Judge.
Thanks. Is that working?
Yes, Judge.
I can hear you.
So is she eligible for a termination right now, or would it be early termination? What would it be, Susan?
Judge, she is on deferred adjudication, and she was placed on in March. So let me see, the 17th. Yes, she is eligible.
All right. Let's just leave it as an MTR, and I'll explain why in a second. Ms. Miranda, the court accepts your plea of true to all conditions on the motion to revoke probation with an explanation. I deny the state's motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke your community supervision. I order your community supervision terminated satisfactorily. Anything further from the state of the defense on Ms. Miranda?
No,
Nothing
Judge.
further, Your Honor. Sorry.
Thank you, Albert.
Judge,
Thank you, Judge.
hold on, don't go anywhere yet. Judge, if you're going to revoke her, you got to either give her a sentence or put her on regular probation. You either revoke or you term unsat, one or the other.
No, I terminated her satisfactorily.
Okay.
She's like early term satisfactorily.
Okay. Well, you said revoke, so.
No, I didn't.
Confused.
Anyway, terminate satisfactory. She did fine. Thank you, Ms. Miranda. You're released. Thank you, Albert. You're released.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you.
Jeb Locke, are you with us?
Right here, Judge, right here. Hello.
Let's talk about Mr. Barrera. Squad 622-516, State of Texas versus Andre Barrera. And Jeb Locke is the attorney. And this is a motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. And Mr. Barrera and Mr. Locke, at this time, I need you to identify your signatures for me on a document entitled Defendant's Consent to Motion to Revoke Hearings by Video Conference. In fact, Mr. Barrera, is this your signature on this document, sir? Can you hear me, Mr. Barrera? I'm not getting any sound from Mr. Barrera for some reason.
Andres, are you talking? It doesn't look like you're muted. Your microphone may not be working or on. Can you talk to us, Andres?
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
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 Okay,
That is my
Mr. Barrera, let's try again. I'm looking at a document titled Defendant's Consent to Motion to Revoke Hearing by Video Conference. Is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. And Mr. Locke, as attorney for Mr. Barrera, is this also your signature on this document?
It is, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Okay, the next document I've got, Mr. Barrera, is titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, which is marked, quote, is an adjudication of guilt following a deferred adjudication, and the defendant has a limited right of appeal. Is this your signature on this document also, Mr. Barrera?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Locke, once again, as attorney for Mr. Barrera, is that also your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, my understanding is this is an uncontested motion to adjudicate. Is that correct?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. Mr. Barrera, on the motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision to condition number 2, which is the only allegation, how do you plead, sir?
True.
He pleads true, Judge.
Okay. Ms. Gross, would you please advise the court and the parties of the status of Mr. Barrera's probation, please?
Sir, Mr. Barrera has been reporting as directed. We last saw him on May 13th of 2021. He has paid in full. He's completed all 48 hours of community service, as well as the DWI education, victim impact panel, and CAT-SNP program. He has also completed the Smart Start mobile device. He's had 10 negative drug tests, and he had 1 positive drug test for alcohol. This is his first violation report, first MTR. This violation did occur back in November. He has no criminal history, and his officer is requesting to continue him on probation.
And so as of right now, he does not have an active Smart Start mobile device, is that correct?
That is correct.
And
He completed that, Judge. May I add one thing to Ms. Gross's comments, Judge?
Sure.
She did mention that the positive test for alcohol did occur in November. He's been reporting monthly and drug and alcohol testing monthly since then, and has been negative on all tests, monthly tests since that date as well. And that's all, Your Honor.
Did we allow him to travel and he came back and that's when we gave him an ETGUA? Is that what happened?
Let me double check, Judge.
That's the only time we use ETGUAs, I think.
I show no request for travel, Your Honor.
All right, well, I got it. State recommendation?
Along with probation, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Barrera, cause 622-516, court accepts your plea of true to all 1 condition with an explanation. I deny the state's motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke your community supervision. Or do you continue on deferred adjudication probation? And that's basically it. Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. Barrera?
Just asking you to recall the warrant, Judge.
We'll recall warrant, any other pretrial matters that I may have done. We'll recall all that. We good?
Yes, sir. Thank you guys very much.
Good luck, Mr. Barrera. Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you.
Joseph Staten is back, Your Honor.
All right, Joseph, are you back and ready on Mr. Jackson?
I am ready.
Cause number 602-540, State of Texas versus Adrian Jackson. This is a 7th amendment motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. At this time, Mr. Jackson, I'm asking you about your signature on a document I have entitled Defendant's Consent to Motion to Revoke Hearing by Video Conference. Is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Stateson, as attorney for Mr. Jackson, is this also your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. The next document I have is entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, which is marked, quote, is an adjudication of guilt following a deferred adjudication, and the defendant has a limited right of appeal. Is this also your signature on this document, Mr. Jackson?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Stateson, as attorney for Mr. Jackson, is this not your signature on this document also?
Yes, it is.
Okay, my understanding is this is an uncontested motion to enter adjudication of guilt. Mr. Station, is that correct?
That is correct. It is a plea of true with an explanation.
Okay. Let me go ahead and let Mr. Jackson do that for me. So Mr. Jackson, on the motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke committee supervision, how do you plead, sir?
True.
True with an explanation, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
All good. Ms. Ms. Gross, would you please advise the court and the parties of the status of Mr. Jackson's probation?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Jackson has performed very poorly on probation in that he missed the last 11 months of reporting. He only paid $436 towards his fee, and he has a balance of $1,329. The case did expire December 10th of 2020. This is his second violation report, first motion to revoke. We have no record of any of his 48 hours community service having been completed. And he did complete DWI education and victim impact panel, but we have no proof of completion of the CATSNP program. He was on Smart Start Mobile testing 4 times a day. He had 29 skips and 6 high bracks. And the high bracks were 0.118, 0.033, 0.034, 0.050, 0.029, 0.028. In addition to that, he had other people providing tests for him, and he also tried to do a workaround on the device by inserting the Smart Start mobile straw into his nose to provide a test. Smart Start Mobile did write off the device on February 14th of 2020. He's had 7 negative drug tests, and his officer is recommending that he be revoked, placed on regular probation, start over on the Smart Start Mobile device within 5 days, and that he be enrolled in the CATSNP program within 10 days and submit to regular drug tests. He has no criminal history.
Okay.
His original fine was $850.
Mr. Station, explain to me why Mr. Jackson, who has no prior criminal record and seems like a nice enough guy, would go AWOL on me. Explain that to me.
I spoke with Mr. Jackson. I can tell you, at least for the substantial part of COVID, he did say that he had stopped failing to report, but he wasn't being told to continue to be persistent. March, April, May, and then June, and he said that he tried to go there in person and they were closed. So about 6 months of that, it looks like he absconded, but he still stayed here in the area. He's currently employed. He's working very hard at a temp agency to help University Hospital with getting people registered for COVID vaccinations. And we really asked the court to follow the recommendation. Mr. Jackson wants to finish probation. He does not want to do a jail sentence. He actually wants to finish paying the fine. He's agreed to re-enroll in CATSNP. And Mr. Jackson did say that he did previously enroll in CATSNP. He thought that he had a certificate of completion. He's trying to obtain it. And we're asking if he does obtain that certificate, if the court would accept that and not make him do CATSNP a second time.
I got a plan. Mr. Jackson, can you come up with $1,329 to pay the probation department by 9:00 a.m. on Monday, the 21st of June? Or otherwise go to jail for, what is it, 6 months? 6 months.
And I'm sorry, Your Honor, how much was it?
I believe it was $1,329. Susan, is that what you told me?
Yes, plus a $2 processing fee.
So $1,331.
By Monday? Yes, Your Honor.
State recommendation?
Along with probation, Judge.
That was mine. That was mine to say, Alexis, not yours.
Well, that's
okay, Mr. Jackson, class 602540. Court accept or plea of true to all conditions on the motion to enter adjudication of guilt and revoke community supervision. I grant the state's motion to enter adjudication of guilt. I find you guilty of the offense of obstruction of a passageway, roadway, highway. I sentence you to 6 months in the Bear County Jail. It says a $2,000 fine plus court costs. Credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent. However, oh, wait a minute. You're to report to the Bear County Jail at 9:00 a.m. on Monday, the 21st of June, 2021 to start your jail sentence. However, if before that time you pay $1,329 and a $2 processing fee to the Bear County Adult Probation Department, which is basically paying all the money you would have had to pay anyway in a correctly done probation, I will waive your jail sentence. So you're still getting convicted of obstruction of a highway, but you won't have to go to jail. You just have to pay this money that you would have had to pay anyway. Is that fair, Mr. Jackson?
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, if you can't come up with this money in time, you're going to have to go to jail. This is just an option deal. I don't want to put you in jail, but I got to do something. You've been gone for too long. Mr. Station, is that agreeable with the defense?
Mr. Jackson, are you able to come up with two? It's going to be two separate payments. If you actually walk in with the check of $13.31, they're going to tack on a $2 processing fee. So if you have two separate payments, but are you able to pay that off by Monday, 9 a.m.?
Yes, sir.
All right, we're good. And if you're having a hard time coming up with the money, I would borrow it from Mr. Statesman because he's rolling in dough.
Uh-oh.
One of those rich lawyer types.
Uh-oh.
All right.
I don't have the big desk is over there.
Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Jackson?
Nothing further, Judge.
Good luck, Mr. Jackson. Thank you, Mr. Statesman.
Thank you, Judge.
All right, Mr. Jackson, you can go over to the probation department, which is that 4-story building right across the street from the jail. You can go in there, you can pay with cash or cashier's check. It'll be the $13.29 plus the $2 fee. Okay, and you can go over there and pay between 8 and 5. And then once you get that paid, you need to let your attorney know, and your attorney will contact either myself or the judge so that that warrant does not get issued for your arrest. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Good luck to you.
I just had, okay, that's it.
No, what's your question?
Oh, it was about my monitor. Am I okay to still go if I have a monitor on, or?
Judge, you recalled all the GPS and all that, right?
It's going to be recalled today. It won't go into effect till tomorrow. But you've got my oral authorization to go pay the money is what it boils down to. So if something were to come up, what that happens, they generate a violation report that says that you went somewhere you weren't supposed to go, but I know where you went. So we're all good.
And then, Judge, is it okay if I do a smart start removal so that we
Sure.
can go and turn in the device?
Yeah, do you still have that device we can give back to the company, sir?
Yes, yes, Your Honor.
If
Okay.
you would, go ahead, Susan.
Judge will sign the order late today or tomorrow. And so probably on Monday, you'll be able to take that back, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
That way you don't get charged for it.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you, sir.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Your Honor, Mr. Farmer is back. Defendant is not on. I believe he's going to explain what's going on with his defendant.
Hello, Your Honor.
Right.
Mrs. Beltran was actually present but at the courthouse today. It was my mistake. I thought she was able to go in person to complete the paperwork. I completed it on my end. So I would have to meet with her at a future date to help her because she doesn't have a phone that can properly be used. So I want to meet with her in person if possible and request a reset.
Okay. Can we tack this on to next week, Pat?
Yes, we'll put it for the 24th at 9:30.
Okay, thank you. That's fine.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Farmer.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
You bet.
Okay. Now, Your Honor, we've got Adrian Flores here, wants to discuss something off matter. It is a travel permit for a defendant.
Yo, Adrian has a travel permit for a defendant. Where are we going?
That's correct, Judge. Good old Mexico.
Mexico? There's no Disney World in Mexico.
Sorry, no can do.
There are cartels in Mexico. That's all there is.
Judge,
Have you already filed a motion on it? It's in my stack somewhere.
I did, Judge. It's in your email. I spoke with the clerks. They said they had forwarded it to you. So
yeah, it's in my 4-inch high stack of stuff. What's your defendant's name?
His name is Julio Anguiano Rodriguez. I have the cause number for you.
Yes, please.
619-543.
What's he charged
morning.
with?
He's got a pending DWI.
Have we had any violation reports on him?
That's a Pat question. It's not a probation case, Judge.
Your Honor, I have no idea at this moment in time. I can look and see if I have anything on him.
Hang on. Let me do some digging here.
Okay, let me check some.
When did you want to leave?
Tomorrow, and he'd be back Tuesday, Judge. He's going to visit family that he hasn't seen in over a year. I believe he's set in July for trial, Judge.
Yeah, he is.
Okay. Julio Anguiano, 619-543, right?
That's correct, Judge.
He can go. You just need to take an ETG UA within 24 hours coming back. Fair enough?
Understood. I'll let him know.
And I didn't see any violation reports, Your Honor.
I'm sorry? None?
I
Great.
did not see any violation reports.
Do you have any on Adrian Flores? Because I guarantee you he would generate.
That is
boy,
beside
oh
the
boy.
point. That's beside the point.
Too many.